back to the channel. If you're new here and you like the content, please make sure you hit like and subscribe. All right, so today we're taking a look at another one of the guitars out of my guitarcade, if you will, my lovely old 1986 Ibanez Roadstar 2 RG425. This is a super awesome shred guitar. You guys have probably seen me do a couple reviews on two other guitars I've got from this range. I've got an Ibanez Roadstar 2 RS440 as well as the 430. But this one here, the RG425, is indeed my favorite out of the three. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you kind of a review on this guitar. I've had it for a few years now, my thoughts and opinions on it, and some of the specs. And yeah, I'll just kind of tell you about this particular guitar. I will say, if you're interested in things more like tones, unfortunately these are not the stock pickups. These have been changed. So I'm not going to do much tone-wise just because it wouldn't really be indicative of how one of these guitars would sound new if you were to find one. I will do some playing at the back though, so if you are looking for just me kind of playing on this thing and what it more or less could sound like, just follow the timestamps here, get yourself to the back of the video, and that's where the tones will be. All right, the specs, let's go. Okay, so this is obviously a Super Strat from the 80s. Now, I really like this one, specifically because, as the name might have already tipped you off, this one is still considered a Roadstar 2, but there is the name RG, which comes up in the actual proper model name of this guitar. The reason for that is you can probably already tell just by the edges of this. This was 1986, a bit of a transition year into what would become the RG lineup. The beveling on the body is a lot more angular and aggressive than you find on the older Roadstar series from just, the previous year. So a little bit more aggressive, but I really dig this look. Now, the really neat, unique thing about this is obviously the humbucker placement on these things. Most guitars at the time, and even today, you don't really find with this kind of configuration of double bridge humbuckers. The other guitars that were doing this at the time that I can think of obviously would be something like the Nightswan, which I think came out around 86 or 87, so around the same time as this. And of course those Blaze guitar models, which were made for Vivian Campbell back in the 80s, even before that, but that's another video altogether. Now, the reason I know for certain that this is a 1986 is one of the things that actually makes this kind of a rare model of guitar. These were only made for 1 year and 1 year only, and that indeed was in 1996. I think these came in a few different colors. I obviously have this one model here, which is in red and in lovely condition. I've seen white ones floating around. I think there's some black ones as well. Really, really nice guitars, really cool, and kind of rare. As you would expect with an Ibanez out of the 80s, production on this was indeed Japan, so the quality on this is exceptional. Really nice fit and finish on everything, and yeah, just a real quality instrument overall. All right, so let's start off by talking about the body. So obviously, Super Strat shape. Again, it's very much like the other kind of Roadstars you would see within this line as far as the shapes go, but just a little bit more edgy, a bit more angular. The material used for this, I think, is basswood or basswood, depending on how to pronounce that. And obviously, it's fairly light. Beveling that you do find, of course, is just your kind of standard Super Strat style beveling. One thing I do like, and this is kind of indicative of all the Roadstar series, you kind of have like this little notchy horn piece here. You can see it right there as well on the bottom. Pretty neat. As far as the back goes, you've obviously got a tummy cut there, which is nice. And of course up here you've got a cutaway for your forearm when you're playing. Another thing I should probably mention about this body are these guys right here. This model still has those really cool chevron strap buttons. I really like these. You don't need strap locks with them. This isn't coming off. It's fantastic. These are awesome. These are on all of my other Ibanez guitars from this era as well. Really like these, really cool. Kind of hoping they bring them back at some point, but I'm not going to hold my breath. While we're looking at the body, we should probably talk about the big upgrade that you find on the 1986 Ibanez models, which is this guy right here. That is an Ibanez Edge tremolo. This is an original. This is a fantastic unit. The machining tolerances on this are wonderful. It stays in tune like an absolute champ. This compared to any of my, Floyd Rose original guitars, I would put this on equal footing. It's fantastic, doesn't go out of tune. You can abuse it like an absolute lunatic, and it's fantastic. Now, this is a massive upgrade for the Roadstar series, because you might remember on the other two that I have, I've got the Ibanez Pro Rocker trem on there, which is a nicely machined unit, but it just suffers from a lot of tuning instability that this trem doesn't. This is just fantastic, this unit. Really, really like it. Also of note, since we have the new trem, obviously, for 1986, the other upgrade we get is we've got a more conventional style Floyd Rose lock nut up here in place of a regular traditional nut. This is great. You guys might remember before, I think it was called the top lock unit, which sat behind the original nut and then clamp down there. That also works, but this is even better. It reduces, all friction points and is just a really stable, fantastic unit. So, gotta say, Absolutely fantastic job with the bridge on this one. A much needed upgrade over the old Pro Rocker. Now, another great thing about this edge trim, and I think it's persistent in modern Ibanez stuff too, it's a push-in, pull-out bar. And I love that. I just think pretty much any bar ever should come like this on this kind of trim. It's fantastic, especially if you're able to adjust it and tighten it to your specs. Really, really nice feature. All right, so the next thing we should probably talk about is the neck on this. Obviously, starting off on the headstock, we have the lovely Ibanez Roadstar 2 Series blade headstock. If I'm not mistaken, 86 might have been the last year this was in use. Not everybody's cup of tea. I quite like this headstock shape, probably because it's a bit quirky. It's also nice because they were painted to match the bodies, so nice little touch there and attention to detail. I will say on the back here, you've got yourself some nice tuners. These are obviously Ibanez branded and were made in Japan. Very, very nice units. Also, I don't know if this came stock on these or if a previous owner might have added these, because of course I'm not the original owner of this guitar. But this is kind of nice, just an Allen wrench holder for obviously your lock nut, or back here if you need to do any tuning or adjustments to your edge tremolo. Now I will say these Ibanez branded tuners are quite nice. The ratios feel fantastic. If I'm not mistaken, they're called smooth tuners. Let me see if I can get it to show here. It might even say on it. There you go. Smooth tuner. Really nice. I like them. Not that it really matters, again, because this is a double locking tram system, so most of your tuning is going to be done back here with the fine tuners. But again, nice tuners. They feel great. The neck itself is one piece of maple. It's got a nice skunk stripe, kind of reminiscent of a Fender, and I quite like this. The other two that I have got painted necks, which are lovely, but this is a bit of a different vibe, and it just, I don't know, it just feels quicker for some reason. So I quite enjoy that as well. Now the neck itself, the profile on this I find quite comfortable. It's flat, like flatter than a Fender, but not quite as crazy flat as like a modern RG's Wizard kind of neck. This is called the Roadstar DX profile. Don't know much about it other than this is probably what's on my other two as well. And it's honestly a really nice, comfortable feeling neck profile. You can play this for many hours without any issue whatsoever, so fantastic. The fingerboard, as you can see, is obviously rosewood. It's quite lovely. The radius on it is ultra flat. Like, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to say it's probably a minimum 14 inches, if not more. Pretty comfortable. I mean, this is a shred guitar, so if you're going to be doing fiddly bits, a nice flat fretboard is always quite lovely. The frets themselves are supposed to be jumbos. They don't look super, well, actually, you know what, they are pretty big. Yeah, I guess I could buy that. These are jumbo frets. And of course, there's your regular kind of nickel stuff. Nothing stainless steel back in this time frame. Addition to the size of the frets, you obviously get 22 of them, so you can get up here and shred away like a maniac. The cut here is actually quite nice, just like on the other Roadstars that I have. It's quite comfortable and easy to get up here and easy to play, so that's an A+ piece. Obviously, the scale length is just your regular kind of standard Ibanez and Fender scale length, which is 25.5 inches, so no surprises there. All right, the electronics. We've got ourselves, obviously, two humbuckers, one in the middle, one on the bridge. We've got a three-way toggle switch. We've got a volume control and a tone control. And these are the same knobs on my other two Roadstars. These are called, if I'm not mistaken, Tech Grip. They feel like plastic. There's nothing wrong with them, but they're probably the least quality feeling component on this guitar. Not that this is in any way not a quality instrument, just compared to everything else, these are kind of lackluster, but they're fine. One thing I will say is these are split, so you can split each one of these humbuckers respectively. Of course, these aren't the stock humbuckers. These are humbuckers I put in here, which are kind of period correct. This one here is a DiMarzio Super Distortion, and this one here is a DiMarzio Path. Interestingly, when I bought this guitar, the gentleman I bought it from had installed Gibson Slash pickups in here, which of course were not F-spaced, so the pull pieces didn't quite line up underneath the strings, which was a little bit strange. And also they didn't have, I think, the 4-wire connectivity, so I couldn't use my split functions with them, which was a bit weird. Anyway, those are long gone. These ones obviously I installed, and they're fantastic. They look the part, they sound the part, they're from the period, and I'm quite happy with them. What would have come stock in these would have been Ibanez branded IBZ pickups, and you would have just gotten literally the bridge pickup times two. They just gave you two of the same thing. And of course that was with a 4-wire, so you could do the same trick and split and all that stuff. All right, so tones. I'm not going to do a ton, obviously, because these are not the stock pickups. I'm just going to do like maybe an E chord and cycle through what's going on here, so you guys just kind of get a sound for how versatile a double bridge humbucker setup actually is. You'd be surprised. It's not as bad as you think, okay? All right, so here we go. So this is just middle pickup, full humbucker, and an E. Here it is split. Here's the middle and the bridge, both in full humbucker. Same position, just with the neck split. Or I should say middle, really. And with the bridge split. With both split. And this is just the bridge. And then split. So yeah, kind of surprising. You get quite a bit of different tonal option out of that, which is more than I thought you would. Honestly, I figured these would just kind of all sound the same. But you definitely do get more nuance than expected. Anyhow, here's me playing some Rocky stuff. Alright guys, there you go, there you have it. That is the review on my 1986 Roadstar 2 RG425 2 humbucker 80s shred guitar. Yeah, really, really cool instrument. Kind of rare, of course, because they were only made for that one single year in 1986. Anyway, super cool guitar. Definitely out of the three I have, it's hard to pick favorites. It's like picking a favorite amongst your children, but this one for sure is my favorite out of the three Roadstar 2 series guitars that I have. I am looking for one more, which I think is also an RG, a Roadstar 2 RG, and I think it's the RG410. It's basically the same kind of setup like this, except instead of the twin humbuckers here, you just get a single humbucker on kind of that 80s awesome slant that you find. So yeah, that's pretty much the last guitar I'm looking for from this series to just kind of round things out. But anyway, yeah, that's it. That's the guitar. That's my review on it. Really awesome instrument, super high quality, plays well, sounds cool, looks ultra bitchin'. Really, really wicked cool guitar. I'm kind of hoping Ibanez reissues these or brings back this series. Just really neat. It's got some serious vintage mojo to it. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Hope you enjoyed my review on this pretty awesome old Ibanez. It's been in my collection for quite a few years now. If you did like the review, please make sure you consider hitting like and subscribe, helping my channel grow a little bit. And as per usual, guys, just keep on shredding, and we will talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.